Hello and welcome to this weather update. It's around 7:30, first day of October, and let's talk about the humidity because it's coming back. Yep, it sure is. So let's take a look at that humidity. Yeah, dew point is already up to 65 degrees at Farmingdale. So the humidity is back in force, unfortunately, and it's going to stay with us. And it's going to be feeling more like late August than early October this week, as temperatures look where the forecast has us getting up to 80 degrees or higher on Wednesday and Thursday. Absolutely awesome. Great. This weather is back, folks. I can't believe it. Anyway, before we talk about our weather, we got to talk about tropical weather because we have a number. We have Leslie now, which is Tropical Storm Leslie, which is maximum sustained winds are up to 60 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure is 990 millibars, and it's moving southwest. And we talked about this yesterday. Very unusual movement for a storm. And if we look at the forecast track, you'll see it's going to be moving southwest, and then I don't know. This track is confusing. 2 p.m. Saturday, 2 p.m. Friday. Or is it coming from here? Is it this way? No, it's over here right now. All right, so they Monday. Oh, okay. So they have it going this way. They have it strengthening to a hurricane. So it's going to strengthen to a hurricane, and then it's going to move back out. So very unusual. I spoke about this yesterday. Very unusual. And I want to look at Leslie on the satellite, the high resolution satellite, so you can see it's really looking healthy. There it is. Definitely looking healthy. Really large eye, too, with this storm. Really large eye. And this is something I've been noticing with some of these hurricanes and tropical systems, that they've had very large eyes. So you can see a very large eye with that storm, and it's going to be moving this way and strengthening as it moves over the warmer water. There's the stalled front, and here's all that warm air that's going to be heading over us as we deal with the return of summer. And then we also got to talk about Rosa. So I actually have to do this so we can actually see Rosa here. Tropical Storm Rosa, which is over here. This is making another unusual move. Now, this was a Category 4 hurricane at one point, but it has weakened to a tropical storm because it's over cooler waters. But it is going to be moving over Baja California and into Arizona. So they're going to actually be getting some humidity and tropical rains in Flagstaff, believe it or not. So no one is safe from the humidity. No one is safe from the humidity. And if we go back to the Hurricane Center and change this, we'll look at Rosa right now. So Tropical Storm Rosa is going to move over Baja California. By the time it gets, it'll just be a tropical depression. But there could be some, the wind probably won't be that much of a factor. Already it's weakened a lot. Maximum sustained winds are at 40 miles an hour, and its movement is north-northeast at 10. So we can look at the wind history, actually, with this. So you can see where it was a strong hurricane right over here, especially in this spot right here. But it is weakened, so the wind won't be too much of an issue, but it will bring rain and humidity. That it will do. And if we look at the rainfall forecast, you'll see that there could be some really heavy rains in Arizona, and places they're not used to getting heavy rains in Arizona, so that could result in some really bad flooding over there. So we have Rosa, and then we have Sergio. And Sergio is going to strengthen, all right? Maximum sustained winds are already 70 miles an hour. Sergio is probably going to be a hurricane, and it's going to take a similar track, too. Perhaps. You see they have it forecast to becoming a hurricane, and maybe even a major hurricane by Thursday. And they have it going out to the weekend, where so far it looks like they have it staying out to sea, but I think some of the models were taking it on a similar track to Rosa. So a lot of stuff going on in the tropics. And then we have these typhoons going on, too, which the Hurricane Center does not mention. They don't really cover typhoons. But I want to show you, we're going to go to the high-resolution satellite from yesterday and show you. First of all, let's take a look at Rosa. All right, this was Rosa yesterday on September 30th, and This was Rosa on the 29th, and you could see how it's weakened. It was a much stronger storm on the 29th. This is when it was like a Category 4 hurricane. You can see it's got that perfect symmetry. This is the 27th. All right, so you can see it moving toward. But as it gets over this cooler water, fortunately, there's cooler water along the west coast that protects the west coast. That's why they really don't get hurricanes there. Even if a Category 4 would make a direct beeline toward them, by the time it gets over that cool water, it weakens. The water temperatures along the west coast, north of this area and along the Baja, are in the 50s. So it weakens a hurricane very quickly, fortunately. But I want to head west because we have more tropical. There's really a lot of tropical activity going on, all right, that we have to talk about. Let's find Japan, if we can. I think there it is. Okay, so let's go back here because there was a tropical system that impacted Japan. Very strong tropical system here. It was a typhoon. I don't remember the name of it, but this typhoon hit Japan and caused a lot of damage and power outages and stuff like that. And it also had a very large eye. This is from back in 26. Look at the eye of this typhoon. This is very unusual to see such a large eye. That eye is like 90 miles across. 90 miles. That means you could fit in this eye. You could fit New York City and a good part of Long Island, Westchester, and just to put that to scale, this eye would cover that. So these storms have unusually large eyes this year. It's just another weird thing going on with the weather. So this is the last. I don't remember the name, but again, look at the size of that eye. That is a big eye. So yeah, look at the scale here. I'm going to show you here. Move this over here. See the scale here. This is 50 miles. All right, so you can see that eye is 50 miles across, or over 50 miles across. So that is really weird. Very weird to have such large eyes in the storms, and it's just another weird thing that's been going on with the weather this year, is to have these storms with large eyes. So this hit Japan, and then it moved. The good thing is it was moving pretty quickly. Look at that, gone like that. So you still didn't have to deal with that too long. But look what we got. Here's the next one. Another typhoon that looks like it might take a similar track. We don't have the image for the first, but that is definitely something to be watched. So we have all these tropical systems going on, and we have to keep our eye on them. Look at that. There's another one here. Another one here. That one actually, yeah, that's that one we have for the Hurricane Center. Let me look at that. Let's go back to the Hurricane Center. I think if we go to Central Pacific, that one should show up. Yeah, that's Hurricane Walaki. All right, so that's Hurricane Walaki. It's a Category 4. Wow. So wow, maximum sustained winds 150 miles an hour. So they're at the W. They're up to the W's already. So they're gonna have to go to the, I think, what is it, Greek? Gonna have to go to the Greek names, I think, or something like that. But yeah, Hurricane Walaki. This thing is a monster. And luckily, it's not hitting land. It's staying out to sea. But I bet you they're getting some pretty big swells in Hawaii from this. But luckily, it's staying out to sea. But the amount of tropical activity this year is crazy. So this is a very strong hurricane. So again, this is Walaki. Max sustained winds are 150 miles an hour. It's moving northwest at 10. But so far, luckily, it does not appear to be affecting any. Oh, there is a hurricane warning. There's some island. It must be some islands here, I guess. There's a hurricane warning for that little. There's some islands there, I guess. I'm trying to see what islands that would be. So I guess it is going to affect an island. I don't know which island it's going to affect. They don't really have much here about this storm. All right, let's see. Public advisory. Let's see. It's okay. So hurricane warning is going to be issued. So it's the Papahanaumokia Marine National Monument. So that's where the hurricane warning is. So luckily, it's not really affecting any really major land. Thank God. Thank God it's not hitting Hawaii. That's a scary looking storm for sure. In fact, let's look at it on the satellite here. We're going to go look at the satellite imagery from. Let's see. Do they have it here? They do not have Walaki. Okay. All right. I guess not. All right. What we can do is look at Tropical Storm Leslie, though. So let's look at that. There it is. So you can see it's moving southwestward, and you see there's some pretty decent convection there. This is the one in the Atlantic that's spinning around right now. And then let's look at Rosa. You can see it's pretty disorganized now, but you can see some really heavy rains, and that's going to be the main problem, is these heavy rains that will be occurring over here as this moves toward Arizona. And then we got to look at Sergio. So let's look at Sergio. Now Sergio is really starting to strengthen nicely. Oh yes, look at that. Look at that convection there. Pink. That is some very high cloud tops. Like I said, this is very unusual to see the cloud tops get that high. Wow. So we have some really unusual weather going on. That's all I could say. It's kind of scary. But anyway, next we're going to take a look at the models and see what's in store for Arizona, as well as our weather this week. So what we're going to look at now is what's going to be happening in Arizona. So it's going to be kind of unusual because Arizona is a pretty dry place, but they're going to be getting into this tropical moisture that's going to be heading. So here is Leslie. We're going to look at it on the GFS. You can see it falls apart pretty much, but it becomes an area of rain. And that some of that rain could be pretty heavy. So if we go and we look at the how much rain that they're going to get, we're going to go look at the total accumulated precip. We'll see here that there's going to be quite a bit of rain that's going to fall. So it could wind up dumping in parts of Arizona as much as 2 or 3 and maybe even 4 inches of rain in certain areas. But this is the GFS. I don't like using this model for rainfall. You know, I prefer using the NAM model for that. And if we look at the NAM, it's a heavier amount of rain, more like 5 inches in certain spots of Arizona. So it definitely is going to be quite wet and humid too. There's going to actually be some humidity in Arizona too, so they're going to have to deal with the humidity in Flagstaff a little bit as this rain moves up that way, this tropical moisture. So let's take a look at some of the dew point forecasts here, because the dew points are going to be higher than normal here. All right, so here you go. Here's the humidity starting to creep its way into Arizona, and you can see it's going to make its way north. It won't get that humid in Flagstaff. Probably dew points in the upper 50s. That's quite humid for Flagstaff. The southern part of Arizona, close to the Phoenix, dew points could get into the 60s, and maybe even some 70-degree dew points too being shown here. So they will be dealing with a little humidity, you know, a little bit. So even they're getting a taste of this humidity compared to what they normally deal with. Like this is what they had to deal with yesterday. All right, let me change this to back to the GFS. Look at the humidity there, and see they get. So yeah, you can see the humidity come up as this tropical system comes in. All right, so let's go back to the regular CONUS view of the GFS. Let's go back here. Let's do the CONUS view. And we'll change this back to the... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Change this back to the precipitation. Alright, so what the heck happened? Alright. I don't know what I just did. I apologize. Be relatively simple what I'm doing, but I'm screwing it up somehow. Okay, so let's take a look at the GFS here and see. So that's Rosa. Let's see what happens with Sergio. It looks like it keeps Sergio away. Oh, no, it doesn't. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to have to go to a larger view here. I knew I would. To show you what's going on. So let's look at the North American view. How's that? Alright, so here's Sergio here. Alright, so it moves Sergio, this is what's unusual, moves Sergio way out into the Pacific. But there's a blocking ridge here, so it's going to wind up happening about a week from now. And this thing is going to be a monster. It's going to start heading back toward the coast again. And it looks like it's heading right for Baja, California. And it will weaken as it moves over that cooler water, but it looks like it's going to take a similar track to Rosa around mid-October. It has it, it has it doing this weird loop, and it's just really strange what's going on. So let's take a look at Leslie too, because we gotta look at Leslie. So this is Leslie over here, in this part of your screen, and Leslie's going to move southwest, and then it's going to start. It's going to start moving northwest a little bit, and it's going to strengthen, and then it's going to move northward and finally get picked up into the flow. Looks like this thing might go right into the Arctic. Really strange stuff going on. Oh, and then we have this other tropical system that's going to form over here. It looks like a weak tropical system that might wind up impacting Georgia or Florida. So yeah, we have a lot of tropical things going on. So lastly, let's go and look at. Let's do this. Let's go over here, and let's look at the rain, because see, we have a lot of stuff going on with the weather, with the chance for rain now, because now we got to worry about our next chance for rain, and there could be some heavy rain and thunderstorms in our area around this time tomorrow, starting to affect our area. So, see, there's a cold front that's going to be approaching the area, and you can see it's going to be affecting our area around roughly 8, 9 o'clock thereafter. This is the NAM. It doesn't look too heavy. Let me change it to the higher resolution NAM. And let's see. But some of the other models are a little different with the way this handles. Yeah, it just has the rain fall apart completely, this NAM model. So, yeah, it has it fall apart completely. That's the NAM model. However, we can look at some other models. Let's look at the HDRPS, because I have a feeling the HDRPS has a completely different picture of that rain for tomorrow. So here it comes. You can see it holds it together, and look at that purples. So this is a pretty intense line forming tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon, and then it looks like it brings it through earlier, more like around around 5, 6 o'clock. It comes through and affects our area, and then another stronger line comes through for later on, around 9 or 10 o'clock. That's the HDRPS. So that's completely different, that model, than some of the others. Let's look at the RGEM and see if it's doing the same thing. It's not. So I'm thinking the HDRPS a little overdone, the first part of it. But the second part, here's the RGEM, and the second part kind of holds together. So we're going to have to keep our eye on that. Could be some strong thunderstorms. There is a slight risk of some severe thunderstorms, actually. So we'll have to keep our eye on it. And that's just because of the humidity. It's because the humidity is going to be high. If we go back to the NAM and change this to the dew points, you'll see that the humidity is going to be high, and that is going to result in some, plenty of moisture for storms. So you can see here's that humid air. There's the oranges, dew points in the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees, and you see this is the front that's coming through. That's going to act as a lift mechanism to trigger the thunderstorms. And then we get into some lower dew points for a little bit on Thursday. Hey, looks like we get into some lower dew points on Wednesday. That's good. So hey, that's a little nice to see. Probably won't be clear, but at least we do get into some lower dew points. Let's check the cloud fraction, see if we can get it. Wow, look at that. It actually has some clearing skies. So maybe we might get another nice day on Wednesday. Maybe. I wonder what the GFS has for that. Look at that. GFS kind of moves the clouds out too a little bit. Alright, so Wednesday looks like it could be a nice day, October 3rd. And then the clouds roll in more on Thursday. So, yeah, so Wednesday would probably be the next chance for a little nice day before the clouds roll in. But it looks like it's bringing that front through a little more, which is good. So we're going to have some lower dew points, and it'll be clear. So that's some really good news. I'm very happy about that. But we'll have to keep our eye on the tropics. There's a lot of activity going on. And I'll keep you posted about this just unusual weather that we're seeing. And I really wish the media would spend more time on this and less time on Kavanaugh, because this has the potential to affect a lot more people than that. So anyway, that's going to be it. Take care. Thank you for watching.